Hello, Aquarius. So there's cards on the table already. So this set of readings, you're number 11 in my 12-step program of healing readings this week. So I do recommend, like, if you've got the time, or maybe you just want to like listen to something while you're washing the pots or something, go and have a read of a watch of some of the other readings, because they are coming through some really nice, like, uplifting, healing messages that I think everybody can benefit from. And of course, we're not one sign, right? We are a multitude of different signs. So if you know your birth chart, brilliant. If you don't, there is a link in the description box down below. You can go and check that out if you want to. I definitely recommend looking up like your moon placement, because your moon could be talk about, your hidden fears, your private self, what you like behind closed doors, any kind of illusions that you have about yourself, about your situation. And again, like, fear and illusion can kind of go hand in hand. Fear kind of is an illusion. A lot of the time, the things that we're afraid of, when we face our fears, we think, what was I afraid of? 99% of the time. So yeah, go and check out your moon placement. What else? Mercury is about like social situations. So if you have healing to do in terms of like how you connect to other people, how you communicate with other people, how you understand other people, your Mercury placement can help with that. If you are looking to heal romantic relationships, maybe there's something in your Venus placement reading that can help with that. That's all about like the heart, relationships, passion, actual romantic love. Mars is about how you take action, why you do things. It's also about anger. So if you have any kind of issues and healing to do regarding anger, or like motivation as well, like just having the oomph to do things, go and check out your Mars placement. They're kind of like the key ones. Your Lilith as well. Your Lilith would be a big one about healing, like your guilt, right? Lilith and guilt is like a big healing topic. So yeah, all this key placements. If you haven't got time to watch all the readings, maybe just go and check out those key placements, or anything that you particularly are aware of that perhaps you still have a little bit of healing work to do. And we're talking about healing from within, right? We're not talking about healing actual connections with other people, but healing something within yourself that can help you to do that. Or for example, like healing your own perceptions about the situation. So the healing work is being done from within. It's not like trying to control other people, or it's not external in any sort of way. It's like, whatever situation you're in, what is that teaching your soul, and what can you do? Like, what action can you take? What ownership can you take in this situation? Even if you're in situations where you feel victimized, or you feel like your power has been taken away, how we respond to that, how we deal with that. Of course, sometimes it's supported by mental health professionals or medication, but how we actually choose to take that situation, and what we choose to take from it, and what we choose to do with it. It can be empowering, or we can have some kind of ongoing perception of ourselves as a victim, right? And I'm not saying that people aren't a victim. I don't want to like be toxic in that way, but it's like, what once it's done, and what you take from it and what you do with it matters. You can talk about I know women's issues come up a lot for you, Aquarius. I don't know if some of you are particularly... I can think of an Aquarius, actually, who this fits in with so well in terms of, like, what they wanted to do with their career. But, like, for example, like helping and supporting women who have been victims of, violence or abuse. A lot of the time, the people who work in these fields are actually victims of violence or abuse. And I don't want to gender it as well. Like, let's just take gender out of it for a second. Like anyone who's been a victim of anything, right? A lot of the time, the people who actually become like the most vocal voices for change, like change of legislation, or like, oh my God, that's gone into the feeling. Whoa, I just connected with somebody's feelings about that. Okay, let's tone it back down. Or like support or counseling, a lot of the time have experienced it themselves, and that's why they're so good at what they do, because they have that personal experience. But they take ownership of it, and they take it and they use it as fuel, right? They use it as fuel to make change, and they use it as fuel to make things better. I don't know why this is coming through for you. I think it's because you're a very social sign, like a socially conscious sign, but it's like coming in strong. So I'm just going to push that back for a second and put that over there. What else was I getting? Something about me being little. Me being little. Yeah, I remember. So I've gone back to doing the Lord's Prayer, right? So I want to really stress, whatever your religious beliefs, or whatever your background, your own personal belief system or lack of, everybody's welcome here, right? I don't want this to put anyone off, because I know that he looks like Jesus, right? So some people are like, yay, Jesus. Some people are like, oh, not my thing, right? It's absolutely fine. Just take it as like the spirit or the energy that's coming in, which is helping us heal, right? So, you know, it's either Jesus or it isn't for you, whatever you want to see it as. But because everything's just energy, this is the way I see it. This is my own personal opinion on this. Everything is just energy, and we as humans try to conceptualize it, and we give it names, and we give it, you know, an identity, and we make it human, or a divinity, like a, you know, we make it the energy in our own image. But to connect with it on a vibrational level, it is just energy. So yeah, so you know, the name that we give to it is personal, but the energy is universal, I want to say. So what am I on about? I was thinking, as I was kind of doing the Lord's Prayer, and I used to do this in my readings a lot, and I'd stopped doing it, but then because of the topic, I started doing it again. Just because it's a little mantra, it's like a little routine for me at the start of the readings to help me connect. And I was suddenly taken back as I got to forgive us our trespasses, and as we forgive those who trespass against us, right? I didn't really know what the word trespass meant. Like a lot of the time, because I was taught the Lord's Prayer in school, we said it every single morning in assembly. We'd sit there, we'd do the Lord's Prayer. So I was just learning the words without really understanding what those words meant. And I remember being very, very little, so younger than 6, because it was like where I used to live. Very, very little, and I was like skipping up the road with my granny, and it was sunny, and we might have been going to the library actually. And I remember I used to pass this gate, like it was a gate on somebody's house, and it said no trespassers. And and I was like, I don't know if I took it very literally. So I remember asking granny, like I could see it every time I walked past, I'd be like, no trespassers, but we should forgive those who trespass, you know. And I was like, granny, what does that mean, no trespassers? And she explained, like, you know, people who come onto your property without asking. And so that was what that line meant to me then. It was like, we forgive those who come into our garden to get the ball back, just as like if I have to go into their garden to get my ball back, they you know, they should forgive me. So I don't know why that's coming up. I think there's something to do with like words and the meaning of words. It could be about how words can hurt, but a lot of the time I say it's in the intent. So there's some really powerful words that have been used to put people down in the past that have been reclaimed. Did this come out in your last reading? I remember talking about this with somebody else. You know, it's like, I think there's intention behind words. So the words itself, it's just letters, right? It's just letters. It's just a sound. There's no real meaning to the sounds we make. I could say poo and it doesn't really, like, it's just a sound, right? It's just a noise. If you didn't speak English, if you didn't know what that word meant, you'd just be like, she's saying a word. But I could say, hey, Aquarius, poo. And you'd like, if you didn't know what the word meant, you'd be like, hey, she's flirting with me. Like, there's an intent there. Do you see what I mean? Or I could be like, hey, Aquarius, poo. And you'd be like, oh, this person's angry with me. This person's like offending me. Or I could say, haha, Aquarius, poo. And you'd be like, haha, this person's being funny with me. So there's something about language and words, and how, as I'm saying this as well, it's connecting to, you know, how I'm saying, like, it's just an energy at the end of the day. You know, it's an energy and we give it different meanings, like on a personal level. You know, it's the same thing with words, right? Words mutate, words transform, words can mean different things to different people. You know, one word in one language. So if you look at the word for black in French, for example, it's very similar for a word with a similar but completely different connotation that we do not say, you know. You know, like the river is called that, right? So you know, a word out of context, a word in context is a word in context with its meaning is very important. A word out of context without its meaning can be really taken the wrong way. So there's something about that. But I think what's really, really important to look at, especially if somebody said something and you're like, oh, I am not happy with that person used that word. What are you really angry at? Are you angry with the person? Are you angry with the word itself, that word has horrible meanings? Have you considered what that person's intention was? And if that person's intention was not to hurt you, you know, if that person had good intentions, but they've just used a word that you personally take offense at, I think that's healing that you have to do, not healing that they have to do, because they had no ill intent. You see what I mean? And this reminds me as well of being very, very little. And I was in Toys R Us with my dad. And I was growing up in a pub, and there were a lot of people in there from quite a low income background, very kind of like white working class England, like not even working class, like they weren't working, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not being derogatory, you know, people are who they are. But a certain culture, like kind of like football fan culture of you know, white Britain. You know, if you think like, what's that football movie about all football yobs, like that was it, right? So I was around those sort of people, and obviously they were using terms, and again, like how I didn't understand the term trespass or trespassers, you know, like I ended up taking it very literally. So I was hearing terms and trying to attribute meaning to them. And I remember being in Toys R Us with my dad, and my dad grew up in Nigeria. You know, he had besties, you know, in Nigeria, talking about standing on anthills in the other reading. So I'm recording this on the same day that Leo's reading went up, and there's a Tell Me Anything reading that'll be going up that day where I talk about standing on anthills. You know, my dad's friends in Nigeria, they pulled pranks on him and got him to stand on anthills, and like their game was kicking the anthill. So he grew up in Nigeria, and you know, he had direct experience with people from a different background. And I think the people who grew up in this very white football class bubble of England didn't have those experiences. And I think when you don't understand something, there is fear there, and sometimes fear can come out as aggression. And you know, I'm Libra, so I'm like, people are just people. I've got a humanities degree. I'm like, people are people, right? People are the way they are because of their experiences, because of their environment, you know, and you can have some understanding of that. Even if people are taking a long time to change or grow or, you know, see something from another perspective. You know, I've got this little thing, we accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. And if all you're presented with is that bubble of like low class, like, sorry to use class, I knew class was coming up for you as well. I've got something else to say on that. But like low income. And this is not to say, and again, I grew up around this community of people, you know, it's like such kindness within that community, like such like open door, open heart. I've got bread this week, you haven't. I'm going to give you my bread. I haven't got milk though. Have you got any milk? You know, like the kindness that can be shown in situations where people are really, really struggling. And this is like, you know, family members who still live in these areas and things like this. And, you know, completely selfless. And it's so funny as well. I was walking back from school. I'm very chatty. I don't know why it's all coming out, Aquarius, but there's definitely something in this for you. So I was walking back from school this morning, and somebody was talking about a very, very posh area. I'm in a really interesting place. There's lots of little pockets. There's pockets of really underprivileged areas, you know, where people are really struggling. And there's pockets of very, very affluent, privileged areas. Like we're close to like football, you know, like footballers territory, right? You've got like the footballers at the top, the football fans at the bottom, you know, and like, again, I'm stereotyping, it's not 100% the situation, but you know what I'm saying. You know, so you know, side by side, like neighborhoods next to each other. So this mum was talking about the people who live in one of the affluent areas, and she was saying, you know, they're all stuck up their own arse, you know. Like, and I thought, yeah, the selfish dicks, that's probably why they've got money. The people at the bottom rung of the ladder, who aren't even on the bottom rung of the ladder, you know, they're, you know, looking out for each other. So, because they have to, because that's what you have to do to survive sometimes. So I don't know, the kindness that can be shown in humble backgrounds. And I think as well, like the kind of flag waving of the more affluent areas, you know, the people who are from a privileged background, who are like, let's solve this, this is right, this is wrong. It's like, well, how do you really know what right and wrong is? Because you've grown up with a diamond dummy in your mouth. You know, how do you know what it's like to be living, not even living paycheck to paycheck, but like living off food banks? Like, how can you judge me in your situation? So there's some kind of, again, I'm really middle ground here, which is interesting considering that Tell Me Anything reading that I did. Like, just being able to see the different perspective and just being able to get your head out your own arse and actually look, like, just listen to what it's like to be that other person, you know, and to drop the bias or to drop the privilege or to drop the defensive attitude. Wow, this is interesting. Really, really interesting. I recommend going back and watching that Tell Me Anything reading, because it really feels like a parallel. So interesting. So then, you know, again, people accept the reality of the world with which they are presented. And if you're a kid and you grow up with people using certain languages or telling you that certain people are bad, you know, if you don't have the direct experience of that, how do you know any different? So yeah, back to Toys R Us. I was in Toys R Us with my dad, who grew up in Nigeria, and I've been around these racist people. And I said, Daddy, is that a... And I said a really bad word, I think. I don't know what word I said exactly. I don't know 100%. I can't remember the word I said, because it was a really traumatic experience for me, actually, because my dad whipped around and like embarrassed, and the anger that comes with embarrassment. And he got me, he gripped me, and he said, you never ever say that word again, you know? And the pain as well, like the pain of him hearing his daughter say that word. And you know, I was traumatized, because again, I had no intent in that moment. I was asking a question. I've heard this word, is that what that word means? Have I got this right, Dad? And my dad was like, no, you've got it really badly wrong, really badly wrong. Like, I am disowning you right now. I was like, I'm so sorry. I hope the guy didn't hear me. I really hope the guy didn't hear me. Yeah, so yeah, and again, like PTSD moment for me as a little kid. Like, oh my god, what did I do? What did I say? Like, why is my dad so mad at me and embarrassed? Like, what is this? So I don't know. There's definitely something about this. I was actually picking up, and I was like, I don't want to talk about that. Aquarius, I don't want to talk about that. What I was picking up for you, kind of last night when I was thinking I've got Aquarius tomorrow, I was getting the caste system in places like India. So I specifically got this reference of like the caste system, and how in Asia they sell like skin whitening lotions and all this kind of silly stuff. I was talking about beauty being in the eye of the beholder as well earlier today. Like, beauty standards change constantly, and you could be beautiful in one country and so fucking ugly in another country, because people have idealized different features or skin colors or hairstyles or clothes, or, you know, or fetishized, like the fetishism that comes with something that's different, you know. So that seems to be a topic in your reading. Okay, so let's get into it and see what we have to say. Right, okay. On a completely different note, the song that randomized for you was Summertime Sadness by Lana Del Rey. And it's funny because it was like sadness, right? And I was just, as an advert was playing, so I didn't know what song it was. And then it finally played, and I finished shuffling this deck, and I saw it was Summertime Sadness, and the dolphin was here. And the dolphin is like the happiest character in this deck. And I was like, that's so funny, because it's such a contrast. And then a card fell out of this deck when I was shuffling, and it was the Nine of Cups. Happy, 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 right? Maybe some of you are Cappy Cusp, because I say that for Cappies. Cappies, 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 I hope you're happy. Sadness, and yeah, the cards are telling me happiness. And it is quite a happy song if you go and listen to it. You know, Kiss Me Hard Before You Go. It's the sadness is not being with the person that you want to be with, right? The sadness is saying goodbye, but it's a happy situation. So I don't know. Kiss me hard before you go. Summertime sadness. I just wanted you to know, baby, you're the best. Right, let's get you some cards. So what needs healing with Aquarius? If you're still with me, hi, if you're still with me. Community again, social, people being different. What needs healing within Aquarius, please? What needs healing? So I think, again, going back, sorry, to the fire ant reading with this defensiveness, rather than attacking somebody. So if somebody says something wrong, right, rather than, and I know an Aquarius who's very, very good at this, shout out, hi, you know who you are. If somebody says something wrong, right, and it's like, ow, that hurts that you use that word. I thought you were better than that. You know, that kind of thing. Rather than attacking, rather than being like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore, you use that word, you should be cancelled, you know, that kind of like bile that people spit out in those situations. Actually taking a breath and kind of going into that kind of teacher mode and being like, oh, you just used a word that I'm very uncomfortable with, let me explain why. I'm, and being like, I'm sure you didn't mean offense by it. But I want you to understand how that word has different context, how that word has different meanings, and how how you using that word can cause pain to other people. So it's about educating and growth rather than attacking and cancelling. I think there's something in there about that. And I do think Aquariuses tend to be quite good at that. Being quite logical, being swords energy, being, having good communication skills. It's like, let me just give you some information about that thing that you just said. Let me give you a different perspective on that thing that you just said, which, is very grown up and mature. Again, humanitarian. Aquarius is such a humanitarian sign. You're one of the people who's going to go, oh yeah, okay, maybe they should know better, but let's have a look at their upbringing. Let's have a look at their environment. Let's have a look at the socio-economic factors of that person's situation. Again, I really kind of like, this seems to be like the quote of the week. It really stood out to me. So I'm going to keep that out there. Okay. Oh, adjacent possibilities and walking away in hostilities. There's the hostilities. So it's definitely giving me, because she's going through the gate. So it's like, as one door opens, as one door closes, another door opens. Or as you go out of one situation, multiple situations open. I don't know if somebody's recently had a dream like this. It reminds me of Life is Strange. So there's a computer game called Life is Strange, and there's one scene in it where she goes into the dorm room, like she goes into the the landing space where all the dorm rooms are. And it's like those dreams. Have you had those dreams where you go through one door and then you come back out the original door? Like you go out of a door into a room, you open another door, and then you're back in the same space. It's the freakiest dream. I used to have them all the time. I used to do this thing where, like, again, I grew up in a pub around some brilliant people, some lovely people with big open hearts, but some very sketchy people, right? And I used to exit we had like letting rooms as well. So there was like a partition, so that we had our own private space away from like the rental space, and then obviously the public space downstairs. So I used to open the door at the top of the stairs, on the landing at the top of the stairs, and it was like a fire exit door, right? It had like it closed by itself, again, because it was like a locked area to keep me safe, because I was in there on my own. But I used to open that door and I used to try and run down the stairs. So there's like a small flight of stairs, the landing that led to the lighting area, and then another flight of stairs to like the door at the bottom and into the bar area. So I used to like open the door as wide as I could, and I used to run, and I had to try and make it through the bottom door before the top door closed. Like I'd hear it shut, and it was really hard to do. But then I would have dreams about it where I'd run down the stairs, open the door to the bar, and be back at the top. And I was like constantly running down, like running from the top to the bottom. And I was like, I'm not getting anywhere. I just keep going around in circles. So it's like, what do I do? It's like, I have to do something different. This seems to be the key thing. I have to do something differently. So I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to go back up the stairs. I'm going to go back in through the top door. And the dream ended. So it's like there seems to be something about being stuck in a perpetual cycle, right? It's like whatever I try, whichever door I go through, I keep finding myself back at the start. You had this thing about a race in your last reading, right? You're trying to win a race and then getting a detour. So now it seems to be like I'm going around in circles. I keep trying different doors, and I keep finding myself back here. So I want to say there's something about the place that you're trying to leave, where it's like you are actually supposed to be there. Like the universe is keeping you there because perhaps there's something that you need to learn, right? There's something that you've not completed learning from that experience, or there's something you need to go back at and revisit or relook at, or it's just not the right time. Like you have to be in that certain place for a certain reason, for some kind of serendipity to play out. So it's like, that's the energy I'm getting from it. I don't know if you're experiencing that. Let's just try and read this a different way. It does have that feeling, though, of like when you finally walk away, when you finally leave that place of security where you felt really comfortable, doors do open up for you and you have a lot of options. But it's like, excuse me, you don't know where you're going to go, until you open the next door, right? There's this kind of, it feels like a bit of a limbo space, because that's what it was like for me in that dream. It was like I was in that limbo space between the two doors. So this feels like the limbo. Tell me about walking away, please. Thank you. Ooh. Summertime sadness. Kiss me before you go. Summertime sadness. And adjacent possibilities. Taking a leap of faith into something new. Yeah, exactly. 100% with that Fool card. Exactly. So you accept the reality of the world with which you are presented. So I want to say this is what you're presented with. Because what she's walking away from is called the Garden and the Gate. It's like the Nine of Pentacles or the Ten of Pentacles. It's like, it's a place that you call your comfort zone. It's a place that's familiar. It's a place where perhaps you've been there for some time and you have stuff, right? You have, you know, the things that you've collected over the years, photo albums, you know, ornaments, furniture that, you know, you've got a bit of an attachment to. It's like there is a level of comfort in the place that you're walking away from. So kiss me hard before you go. Sometimes sadness. So there's a sadness in walking away. But it's like you only know that situation. You don't have anything to compare it to, right? That's all you know, because it's all you've presented with while you're in the garden. So the Lover's card does talk about choice, and it's a choice made by the heart. But what if your heart only knows? What if your heart doesn't have options? What if your heart only knows one relationship, one situation, one type? It can be like an archetype as well, like a type of person. You know, you always go for the same type of person and you always wonder why it doesn't work out. But it's your comfort zone. You're familiar with it. You know how this plays out, right? So it's that thing again about, like, if you always eat vanilla ice cream, you think vanilla ice cream's great. You're like, you really look forward to it. You're like, yeah, vanilla ice cream day. Somebody had Tutti Frutti ice cream in their reading. It's like, well, maybe the best ice cream for you is Tutti Frutti, right? And you've never had Tutti Frutti ice cream. So you think vanilla ice cream is the best, but have you tried Tutti Frutti? Have you tried mint ice cream, mint chocolate chip? Have you tried chocolate? Have you tried Neapolitan? Have you tried, I don't know, cookie dough? Have you tried fish food? Have you tried, you know, like vegan ice cream, coconut ice cream? Vegan coconut ice cream is like one of my favorites. And you don't know because you've just been having vanilla. Right, let's take skin color out of it, please. Okay, like, if that's your thing, if this is what it's about for you, then fine. Again, I'm just talking about ice cream. I've only just made the comparison to skin color, but you can see there are people with different skin colors on this card. I'm not going to shy away from the fact that there's something going on about people from different cultures, people from different backgrounds, people from different environments, people from different places happening here. But again, don't make it a fetish, right? Or maybe it is a fetish. Maybe it is. Maybe for some of you, like, it's not going to be for all of you, right? Maybe, but it is the Lover's card, so it is talking about, like, romance. Okay, so or heart-based choices, like sexual relationships. I mean, it can just mean a choice, like a heart-made decision, but it does have the lover's connotation to it. So it's like, maybe some of you are like, my type is, you know, girls with big butts. I like big butts and I cannot lie. And it's like, well, you know, she seems great. She seems nice enough. We get along okay, but she's got a small bum. I only date girls with big butts. But maybe, or boys with big butts. I don't know. I'm saying that because I like big butts and I cannot lie, which is another song with a topic of race, right, and race relations in it. And, you know, is it appropriate for me to be singing I like big butts and I cannot lie and twerking as a white girl with no arse? Is it appropriate for me to culturally? There's a big issue here, and I'm having I'm joking, but I'm not joking. Like, I'm having a bit of white guilt in your reading. I am, like, white privilege is coming up for me. And that again, when you white privilege, that idea, that concept of white privilege is such an issue for me. When you've grown up in environments and known people and been in situations where people, oh my God, like, they are not privileged. Like, they are not, like, and yeah, you can talk about how England has benefited from the empire and how that's made money and resources, and we have things like the NHS and not other people. Like, okay, but, like, if you walked in those people, like certain people's shoes, like, you know, with white skin, like, not privileged, or at least wouldn't see themselves as privileged. Okay, so I'm sorry, I don't know why this is coming through like this. I don't think it's about skin color. I think it's about socio-economic. Of course, some things are about skin color. I don't want to minimize that, right? But I think another topic that perhaps is that needs recognition and it needs a platform are socio-economic issues, and how, you know, I read this one thing saying the demographic that performs least well at school is white boys in England. White boys are the worst performing in terms of like GCSEs and things like that, and the best performing, I think, are Asian boys and girls, I think. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's more to the story, right? I don't think it's a black and white issue. I think there's a lot of little bubbles within the big bubble that need to be discussed, right? It's a Venn diagram that we need to discuss here. Anyway, back to this. Again, I'm just channeling the reading and the messages that are coming through. So sometimes it's personal opinion, sometimes it's just what I'm channeling. I just really want to distance myself from that, because I cringe. I cringe when I talk about these topics, because they can so easily be picked apart, or so easily, like, people can so easily shoot you down when you're just trying to have an open dialogue, and that closes the conversation, and then there's no progress. It's like, you've got to have the open dialogue. Okay. So, big buts and I can't lie. So it's like, well, okay, but are you still in the relationship? How did that work out for you? And this is, again, swap it and reverse it if you want to say, I only date girls with little tiny arses, but I'm really interested in this girl. I feel like a connection with this girl, but she's got a massive ass. It's not my thing. I only date girls with small asses. Vice versa. Girls, boys, big butts, small butts, whatever it is, right? It could be like big noses, blue eyes, tattoos. I only date girls with tattoos. She hasn't got any tattoos. She's obviously not daring enough for me. Whatever it is, right? Whatever it is. I only date guys with dreadlocks. Whatever it is, right? Your thing, right? Your thing. That's my thing. How does that work out for you? Are you sure that's your thing? Maybe you should try some of the other things. Maybe you try the tutti frutti. Maybe you try the chocolate ice cream. Maybe you try the vanilla. Maybe you try the coconut. Like, I'm talking about ice cream, guys. Like, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know? That's what seems to be the thing here. So this is take a leap of faith and try the different ice creams. You know, it might work out for you. How do you know? If you never know, if you never try, you never know. We accept the reality of the world with which we are presented. So go and have whatever this situation is for you. It could be anything. Go and have direct experience with that thing that you don't have direct experience in, and really see for yourself, right? It's like Secret Millionaire or something, you know, until you've walked in their shoes, how do you know? It might be the exact thing that you needed. Maybe, do you know what? And I was thinking about this as well, like my granddad, he owned his own house. My granddad and my grandma owned their own house. And unfortunately, and I won't go into it, the house was, they lost the house, and my granddad had to live on benefits and council stuff, right? He had like a council flat, like a retirement flat in the end, you know, and I think there was a lot of sadness about him losing the house, but I think you could live in a mansion, you could live in, you know, you could live on like Millionaire's Row, right? You could have marble fecking walls and floors. Doesn't mean you're going to be happy. I was talking about this to someone in work when I was talking about like what I do and like being a little bit psychic and random stuff. And he's like, what are the lottery numbers then? And I get that a lot. And I'm like, well, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. They're not going to tell you the lottery numbers if you're not destined to have money. Like, if your experience on earth is to not have money and to have to work hard or like stop chasing money, if there's something where the universe wants you to learn lessons through not having money, then they're not going to make you win the lottery. If your destiny is to have a lot of money and learn lessons about, I don't know, who your true friends are, or, you know, what the real value in life is, or, you know, lessons around like what it's like to experience having money, then you're going to have money. It doesn't matter if you play the lottery or not. You know, the universe is going to give you the money that you need to have the experience that your soul came on earth to have. So, but that doesn't mean you can't try new things, right? It doesn't mean you can't have other experiences. So this could even talk about like the liminal space, like the myth of which came out in somebody's reading, where it's like, okay, you've had this experience. You've had the experience of being rich. You've had the experience of having good relationships. Do you want to go and find out what it's like to never have any money and have really shit relationships, and learn how to get yourself back on your feet and learn how to cope with that? And like, do you want to learn those lessons? So it's like, okay, I'm going to go and have that experience this time. You know, I'm up for the challenge. I don't know. You know, some people are born with, I don't know, a free pass into the best universities. Some people have to work really hard, right? Some people have to work as a stripper to pay the tuition fees. Some people have to live with a mountain of debt for the rest of their life, but they got that degree or that skill that they were really invested in learning, which meant more to them than having an actual, you know, expensive career. You know, there's wealth can be measured in a lot of different ways. There's a lot of stuff coming out for you. I don't know, pick and choose, right? It could be pick and choose, I don't know, whatever it is for you. You've got 2 major arcana though, so whatever it is, it's like a pretty big thing that you're healing. And the main message that's coming through here of whatever you're healing inside you, Aquarius, is you're walking away from an experience that is very, very familiar, because you need to experience something new, because you don't have any experience in that. And there's growth there, right? This is stagnancy, this is growth. That's your lesson. So how does Aquarius heal this? You know, and you are the hangman in the tarot, so your whole vibe is seeing things from a different perspective, you know, walking in the other person's shoes, you know, really getting the information on things, you know, having those experiences that, because you're aware that you don't have any experience in that. And there's things that you can have experience in and things that you can't have direct experience in. I, as a white woman, do not know what it's like to be a black man, right? But I can listen, I can talk to people, I can, you know, be in areas like, you know, homes or environments, and, you know, I can see what that's like. I can have the direct experience of the environment, but I'm always going to have the direct experience of that environment or situation as a white woman, right? I can only understand by listening. Something in that as well. Okay, someone doing yoga. Someone's getting tantric. Yeah, absolutely. Flexibility, transcending in love. Yeah, go and have some tantric sex. It'll be good for you, Aquarius. What can I say? Just very extra spice today. Okay, let's move all these over. Flexibility, transcending, and love. I'm not going to get Pisces done today, am I? I've just got the notification saying I've got 15% on my battery. Aquarius. Go with flow, be flexible, right? Don't say that's not for me, that's not my thing, I'm not into that, right? If you've not tried it, go and try experiences. I feel like it's going to help you to evolve as a person. It's going to help you to grow. Some of these experiences are going to be extremely uplifting. I'm not going to read this because I've read it so many times already, but if you want to go and check that out, it's been out in Libra's reading, Gemini's reading. This transcending horse has been all over the place. So if you're watching a few different readings, I'm sure it'll come up at some point. Willow Spirit. Giving me Willow by Taylor Parks, right? I'm like a willow and I bend into your will. I can't remember the words. I'm coming back better than the 90s trend. At the edge of the forest pond grows a large willow. Willow is a symbol of death, by the way. Her branches dip lightly into the waters, which is giving me Othello, if you know Desdemona's Willow song. So I know, and again, you can talk about the reception of art, right? So somebody creates a piece of art, people interpret it in their own way. I know people who have a very different opinion of Othello than I do. For me, the tragedy of Othello is that because some people see Othello as a racist play, right? They're like, that's a racist play because Othello, buys into the stereotype and murders Desdemona, so therefore the play is racist. No, the play is about racism. And I want to say that the love between Desdemona and Othello transcends race. This is what we're presented with. And even in death, Desdemona still loves Othello, and Othello still loves Desdemona. So even though he does this act, which again, it's the act itself that is what a lot of the criticism, is based around. I want to say that Desdemona and Othello's love is pure and godlike. That's the presentation that I believe I'm being presented with in Othello. And yet what the real evil is in that, and one of the worst evils, one of the worst characters I've ever seen, like, written, I'm getting upset. One of the worst evil characters I've ever seen in any kind of piece of art is Iago. And the way he manipulates poor Othello, and he drives him crazy, and he lies to him, and he almost, and Othello is this hero. At the beginning of the play, he's this hero, he's this brilliant man, and yet Iago's cruelty is what drives Othello to the worst possible act. And so Othello isn't presented as the evil character. Iago is presented as the evil character. And I don't think it's about race. I think Iago could have drove anybody mad, right? Through his manipulation and his tactics. If you don't know Othello, like, maybe just skip this a little bit, but I don't know, it's really coming through there. So again, like, it's perception. I'm giving me my love is pure. I saw an angel. Of that I'm sure. She smiled at me in the subway. You're Beautiful, right, by James Blunt. She was with another man. Yeah. And I mean, even what's his name? Cass something? Cassio? Is that his name? Cassius? Othello's kind of like soldier. Like, a lot of the time, race, you don't know what race the characters are, but presumably, I mean, where are they from? Like Greece or Italy or somewhere, that region. Venice, is it originally? No, Vienna? No, Verona? I can't remember where they're from. One of those places. So I don't know. I watched a brilliant production at the RSC by I think the director was, what's his name, Greg? His name's gone out of my face. I can see him. He's a Leo. I can see him. Brilliant production by him. And what's his name? Oh, I'm forgetting everybody's names. But they cast Iago as with a black actor, and it really gave it an interesting I'm hearing dichotomy, and that's not the word I was going to go for. An interesting shift of perception away from it being a racist play where a white man drives a black man to, play into a stereotype, into something that was, it was a black man. It really emphasized the jealousy, which I think is the core motivation of Iago, right? The core motivation of Iago is his own frustration, not getting the opportunities that he got, and his life not being as good as Othello's, and not getting the recognition and things that Othello gets. And it really emphasizes Iago's jealousy, which I think is, for me, the main motivation of that character, and minimizes the interplay between race, between those two characters. It just, again, like, each performance, there's something about perception here. There's something about taking words or art and filtering it through, right, reception theory, like filtering it through our own filter based on our own reality of the world, right, our own experiences, our own version of reality, and mirroring it, or taking from it what we need to take from it and leaving the rest. Okay. Flexibility. This card encourages you to be flexible in your life. Be willing to bend and even to yield. There is a power in doing this as a choice rather than as a forfeit of your will. Even though there are times to stand strong, sometimes the greater valor is to go around a situation rather than face it head on. By being adaptable, you can succeed, whereas somebody who is more rigid may not. Oh, interesting. In rough winds, a strong oak tree may break. It's giving me like Buildings and Bridges by Annie DeFranco. While the willow can bend without snapping. Adjust to life rather than fight it. Surrender to the process. As the willow can weather the storms, so you too can weather life's challenges. There are many legends regarding the willow tree. It often has associations with gods and goddesses, such as Hecate, Artemis, and Mercury. In ancient Athens, it was a practice of the priests of... Were they from Athens? I need to go and read Othello again. It's like I know so much detail of the plot, but like where they came from, I'm like, fuck knows. In ancient Athens, it was a practice of the priests of Asclepius to place willow branches in their temples, in the belief that it would draw mystical healing. The willow was also sacred to poets, for this, like Shakespeare, right? For the sound of the wind through the willow was often thought to influence poetic expression. In Celtic traditions, the willow has always been known as a tree of dreaming, inspiration, and enchantment. The spirit of the willow says, be flexible in your life, be willing to bend rather than break, be amenable to change, and you will flourish in wonderful ways. Okay, let's get a quick card on that. Quick card, she's saying, because we're 45 minutes already. Yeah, somebody's been inflexible. Like Four of Pentacles, that is a stagnant energy, it's a blocked energy, it's a clinging energy, it's a guarded energy. That is somebody who's resisting. So don't resist, be flexible. Love. I need love to ease my mind. I need to find time, someone to call mine. And I want to say as well, I'm being very preachy in this, in a lot of my readings. Like, I don't know anything, right? I really want to emphasize, I don't know what I'm talking about. I only know what I'm talking about from my own perspective, right? Sometimes I'm wrong. So, you know, whatevs. Whatevs. We're all learning, right? We're all growing, we're all experiencing, it's fine. The scent of the wild rose is heady. The perfumed fragrance swirls around you and flows directly into your heart. With each inhalation, your heart opens even wider and deeper. The soft pink colour of the petals, ayo, contrasts with the dark shiny leaves. Fluttering among the blossoms is a kaleidoscope of butterflies. Magic is in the air. It's making me think again of like those Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movies with all the blossom. Love is all around you. Open your heart to receive. All of life's experiences are a splendid part of a spiritual evolution towards the realization that we are all love. In matters of romance, there is a healing right now. I'm just getting like, you can choose, right? You can choose your perception of the world. If you want to choose, if you want to say we're all love, then that's going to be a good experience for you. If you want to choose we're all hate, then that's going to influence the way that you interact with other people and your expectations of situations. Like, go into situations feeling flexible with an open heart and having a higher perspective. And I feel like that openness is going to bring good things to you, good opportunities to learn and grow. Doesn't mean you have to be naive, right? You can have a huge open heart, and if somebody hurts you, you can be like, that person has healing to do, I wish them well. They're showing me, have you seen that meme of Pocahontas where she like kisses her hand and waves and there's all like blossom? It's like, bye Felicia. Right, okay. I've got funny guides. In matters of romance, there is healing right now. No, wait, right? What do you have here? What did I say? This is your healing position. What needs healing? The Lover's card. In matters of romance, there is healing right now. You are a sacred vessel for love to flow through you to others and to the universe. Healing has occurred. Healing is occurring. Healing will occur. I don't know why I'm being so dramatic. Your angels, guides, spirit guardians, and allies adore and cherish you. If only you could see yourself the way those in spirit see you, you would know how deeply and profoundly you are loved, cherished, and adored. Even when we burp, right? It's human, it's fine. I don't know why I'm being so silly. I'm sorry, guys. Some of you are turning off now, or I've turned you off. I don't know. I don't date girls who burp. Be open to allowing the Creator to solve your challenges in wondrous ways. Trust that everything... I don't date girls who burp like an old man. I've got a bit of a funny bug, shush. Be open to allowing the Creator to solve your challenges in wondrous ways. Trust that everything is unfolding graciously and perfectly in your life. I'm feeling very playful. I think you're going to get together with somebody who's very playful. Some of you, the opposite of fear is love. The opposite of fear is love. The opposite of fear is love. Allow fear to dissolve as love expands. The spirit of the wild rose says, you are more cherished than you could possibly know. Open your heart to receive. Love is on its way. You are an eternal vessel for love to flow through. You are enough just the way you are. Really nice reading. And it kind of ties into Capricorn's reading as well yesterday. Oh my God, the reassurance. Like, I felt reassured by that reading. And it's funny as well that it's been a couple of days actually since I did Cappy's reading. And that feeling of like somebody in spirit protecting you and helping you move on is exactly the feeling of that, like that black crow that I had. The black crow reading will have gone up on last Friday with Leo, which is when I'm recording this, wibbly wobbly timey wimey. Yeah, exactly. No, that's just saying, yeah, that reading. So if you haven't seen the Tell Me Anything reading, I'm going to call it like the Black Crow reading probably. Go and watch that, because that's the card that they wanted to talk about. Yeah, you're blocking, right? I don't know. There's something to do with that. Oh, spitting now. She's so disgusting. Some people are into spitting. What can I say? Yeah, look, the star and the sun peeking out there as well. And options, choices, freedom, expansion, happiness, wishes coming true. Really good stuff. Something to do with Seven of Wands. Cool. Aquarius. What's the plan? What's your advice for Aquarius? That's too many. What's your advice, please, for Aquarius? Your advice, please, for Aquarius. Your advice, please, for Podcast Spirit. Same card that came out in that Tell Me Anything reading. Life is a mystery. Right? Hold on to your horses. The spirit is taking you for a ride, baby. For a ride. I don't know. God, maybe I need more coffee. Life is a mystery. The bobcat spirit moves furtively, I can't say that word, and mysteriously. And when I can say that word, I used to be a teaching assistant, and I worked directly with a little boy who had he was not diagnosed with autism, but he definitely had learning difficulties. He was diagnosed with like general learning difficulties, and he would often say, I can't do it. You know, he had a very defeatist way of speaking, and we were really promoting growth mindset in the classroom at that time, and I would find myself saying, I can't say that, you know, like how I just did then, like I can't say that word, and I would have to catch myself. I'd really have to watch my language, to being like, I struggle to say that word, I'm going to keep practicing it, you know. So watch your language, watch the way that you talk to yourself and about yourself. I've just changed to skunk spirit. Skunk spirit, know your worth. I don't know how that happened. Let's go back to page 8. It's like so far away. Okay. Let's try and get through this in one go. The bobcat spirit moves furtively and mysteriously. When the bobcat spirit appears to you, she brings a powerful reminder that not all things in life can be explained or understood by the power of the intellect. Trying to figure things out, find logical explanations, or predict what will happen. What did we have over here? Or predict what will happen based on reasons and facts will not provide you with the certainty and comfort you seek. Bobcat asks you to trust in the great mystery and let the secrets of the universe reveal themselves to you through direct experience. Allow your vision to slip into soft focus, and you will see between the lines and observe what is being hidden there all along. Bobcat spirit helps you know intimately the pulse of the divine in the world. You've got a sexy reading. Trust in the wisdom and the revelations that come to you, except for when I burp, right? Trust the revelations and wisdom that come to you, yet know that understanding may not come as you would like it to. What you experience through your heart and your intuition, which comes to you in the voice of inner knowing, will guide you as you now accept that secrecy is woven into the fabric of existence. No matter what, the appearance of bobcat spirit is a sign that you are being called, get out of here, you are being called to trust, even when what is revealed does not agree with your need for intellectual certainty. There you go, Aquarius. That is what the universe has to say to you today. I hope you found it helpful. Go forth and conquer whoever it is that you're conquering in a good way. Yeah, this looks like, I love that transcending is here. This is like tantra, love and transcending and flexibility. That is like, you're gonna be going doing some couples yoga, right? It's gonna be sexy. Whatever you're doing, have a great time. If you can't be good, be careful. And yeah, open your heart. This is a very, very optimistic, positive reading, right? You're going to be fine. Take care of yourselves. I will see you again soon. Leave me a like if you like. Subscribe if you haven't already. Helps out. And I've got 5% battery left, so I'm going to go. Take care. Bye-bye.